Hey Hansi, so yes, check out this wig. She is very, very boutiquey. I am loving it. So stay tuned to see how I make that wig. So I'm going to start off on a spandex dome cap, and I already marked out where my ears are on the mannequin, and I just sew the first track at the very edge of the spandex dome cap from ear to ear. Here's the other side of the ear, and as you will see, I will fold over. And I never double my wefts because I like to take my time and single weft all the hair on my wigs because I find it gives you the best layers. So it mimics natural hair the best. So that way, if you don't double it, you'll have more layers in the hair, more tracks, going side to side, which gives you more layers in the hair. It's amazing. You'll see at the end, or in the next video when I style it, you'll see it's going to have so many amazing layers. So here's I slowed it down a little bit so you can see the fold over method. It's pretty straightforward, and it's way easy to fold over when it's a single weft. So yeah, I'm a big fan of just single wefting it. I don't double weft my wigs. No, it's a wig like I'm going to have for a long time, so I'm going to take my time and make it perfectly how I want it. And as you can see, I fit literally about 2 packs of hair from the ear to ear section. So the ear to ear guide, that first weft, gives me that guide to fit my first 2 tracks. And as you can see, my tracks are literally on top of each other because I like it really full at the bottom, because you notice with long hair it can be really thin, and the top is really full. So I like to pack in my first 2 packs of hair really on top of each other, like stacked, because I like it that length. I like to retain that length, and I want it really full in the bottom so that it doesn't look see-through and really cheesy. Okay, so I'm finishing up almost that second pack of hair, as you can see, and it pretty much ends at that ear section. So I'm getting close to the end, and this is how I knot off when I start cutting my wefts, when I'm not doing the fold over method anymore. And pretty much after those 2 ear sections, I don't do the fold over anymore because I like it nice and flat in the front. Underneath, it can do fold over. So this last weft I am attaching to the actual closure, to the actual cap, to the actual last weft. All 3 of those get stitched together all the way around. That's the last finale that brings the whole wig together. And as you can see, there is a decent gap between that last track and this one I'm putting in now. But that's okay. I always do that when I feel like I'm running out of hair. So I'll always go back in and fill all of that in. It's not a problem. And when I finish the edge of the track, I always sew. I go to the edge, I sew it good, and then I go back inside backwards so that when I knot it, it's not at the edge, because I want any knots in the front of the hair. Okay, so that's all done, and that's a little piece of hair that I have left. I'm going to split that in half, and you will see how I use that later. But you can use a razor, but yeah, I use the scissors to cut that in half. And now you're going to see I'm going to lift up the wig, where you can see from the closure how much space I have from those last 2 tracks. So that's perfectly fine. You have extra hair, I'm going to fill it all in because this wig needs to be nice and full and boutiquey, hunty, yes. So I'm flipping the wig over, and you're going to see how I'm going to attach these 2 little pieces of hair. So basically, I like to put those 2 little pieces there so that when the wind blows, you don't see a wig. You see strands of hair, yes. And I'm sewing it right above the spandex because I don't like to sew anything on the spandex anywhere in the cap, because you want to retain your maximum stretch in your cap. You don't want it to be locked down because you have thread holding it tight. You want it to be nice and pliable, so if it's nice and snug on your head. You don't want it to be too tight, and that can happen. That's why a lot of wigs, when you make them, they come out too small because you freaking sewed up the elastic so it doesn't stretch anymore, and it's like crazy stiff. So here she is, honey. Look at her. Yes, she is fly. She is bold. Take it. Yes. Anyway, give it a thumbs up if you liked the video, and stay tuned for styling. Mwah.